friends. I've been intentionally over the last few weeks finally getting back to my good ways of eating that make me feel my best and support my autoimmune health. And I want to share more about that with you. But first of all, there's a lot of information out there in the world about what we should eat or shouldn't eat, and it can be conflicting and confusing. So if you're overwhelmed by all of that, you're not alone, and I've been there too. So that's why I want to share with you what I eat and why, most importantly. I'm Terry. I'm the founder of Inspired Wellness Holistic Health Coaching, where I help autoimmune warrior women like myself and likely you navigate these things and come to feel your best through lifestyle medicine and my 9 pillars of health, which are lifestyle medicine. Stick with me for the nuts and bolts of all of this. When I was first diagnosed with my autoimmune condition and finally deciding that I needed to do whatever I could do to support myself, I really longed for somebody to just hand me a nutrition plan that I could follow and that I wouldn't have to think about. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And honestly, that does not exist. I know that when we find what best supports our bodies, it can be a good thing, but we don't always stick to it. And that's me too. I've gone off the rails, and I've recently gone off the rails, and I've come back now in the last 8 weeks or so, and I'm feeling so much better. And I ask myself, why did I let that happen? So one of the things I'll be talking about eventually, not today, is about the systems that can help us to stay in control and follow the plan. I want to share with you the food that I am eating, and most importantly, why. Food is information for our body. It speaks to our cells, and that's really important. Food influences our blood sugar, our mental health, and just in general how we feel about ourselves. It affects our energy levels and just many different things throughout our body. Instead of asking myself, is this food good or bad? I now ask myself, how will this food affect my body? What can I eat to help my body? Most importantly, that's the question that I really want to answer. I want to share with you what I am prioritizing right now. And that is, number one, protein. Protein is so good because it helps to maintain our muscle mass and our bones. And as aging women, now let's be real, we're all aging, but as we get older, we lose naturally muscle mass and bone mass as well. Our bone density can decline and our bones become brittle and really set us up for osteoporosis. Maybe you already have osteoporosis, but whether you do or don't, maintaining a diet with sufficient protein is really important because that's a component that our muscle mass and our bones really need. I recommend 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Now, your adequate number might be less than that or more than that. I try to go for the high end, but you should be talking to your doctor or your registered dietitian about what number is appropriate for you to aim for. And then another thing that I do in order to ensure that I'm getting enough protein, because that is so important, is to weigh my food, weigh my protein to make sure, and then log it into an app like MyFitnessPal. But you don't have to use that one. There's other apps that you can use as well. And I just use the free version. That's enough. I don't plan to weigh my food forever, but starting out by weighing and measuring it and logging it really helps us to get a visual of what, let's say as an example, 4 ounces of chicken looks like. Is it the size of my fist? Or is it less, or is it more? And once you get a visual in your head, then you can move on and not have to continually weigh your food. But I like to do that, and it's been very enlightening. You might think that you're getting enough protein, but when you actually weigh it, it's not quite enough. Now, I have to add, in order to get this much protein in your diet, you're going to need to add it to every single meal and snack. That takes planning, and as I said before, in a future video, I'm going to be talking about the planning and the system so that you can realistically integrate this into your life. The second thing that I'm doing is integrating lots of colorful vegetables and fruits within my diet. And I've talked about this prior, but think about purple cabbage or green leafy like spinach or broccoli or cauliflower, all these different colors, tomatoes. It's beautiful, and all of these things with the different colors provide the minerals that you need as well as the vitamins, and they all are different. So it's nice to have a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables in your diet. The third thing that I'm doing is incorporating healthy fats into my diet, like olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. Those are the three that I use, and I think pretty mainstream, the three most healthy. There could be others, like I do have MCT oil in my cupboard. That's not one that I use on the regular, but I have a recipe for homemade mayonnaise that I use that one for. But using these healthy oils is very good, much preferred over seed oils that are processed. Avoid those at all costs, but also eat avocados, nuts. Those are all really good to get your healthy fat intake from, and log that too. The fourth thing that I want to share with you, and final, is avoiding processed food. I am avoiding processed food, and you can think of it like this. When you shop in the grocery store, shop around the perimeter of the store. That's where you'll find the meat, protein, dairy, produce. Those things are all really good. Avoid the middle of the store. That's where you find the boxed things and the more processed food. Avoiding processed food is going to help you reduce inflammation, because processed food really increases inflammation. Fast food as well. Those are things we want to keep out. But this is not a talk about what not to do. This is a talk about what to do, and encouraging you to eat the healthy things that I'm talking about. And don't tell yourself, oh, I can't have this or I can't have that, but just add the good things in, and that will just naturally crowd out the other things that you're trying to remove from your diet without giving you a restriction. So that's good for your headspace, knowing that if you slip up, okay, well, it's not the end of the world, but you just start over the next day. Like with anything else, these small choices really add up. You can think about also, say you're tired and hungry and you've had kind of a rough day and you're tempted to order fast food. Go through a drive-through, just quick because you want to pick up some food and you're really hungry. Well, think about the drive time and the fuel it takes to get there, the wait time to get your food, and also the cost. And then contrast that with preparing a simple, easy meal that you can make at home that is much more nutritious, less expensive, and more beneficial for your health. So part of the planning that I talk about is having those things on hand. If you don't have those ingredients on hand, then that's going to make it even more appealing to go through the drive-through or to order the pizza or whatever your fast food or junk food of choice is. That just makes it that much more, I don't know how to say it, much more likely to happen. I always like to start with small choices. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I do want to encourage you to make one small choice. That could be, think about tomorrow. What are you going to eat for your protein? And just kind of mentally plan your protein for tomorrow, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or maybe a snack. And think about what you have on hand and plan that and just say, okay, this is what I'm going to eat. That would be one small thing that would be really helpful. Another small thing would be add a vegetable, an additional one to your day. Maybe you don't normally have a vegetable at breakfast and you're going to make an egg scramble with some vegetables or something like that. My examples are just examples. Another small idea would be drink more water. I use my Stanley, and this is a big one. It's a 40 ouncer. And that's a lot, but I like to drink 2.5 of these a day. Measuring your water is helpful when you have a big cup like this. You know how much it holds. So that just makes it easy to think about. Now, I haven't always thought about it. I've always known that I need to drink a lot of water, but measuring it and having a goal is helpful. I always like to bring a spiritual component into it. And I want to share with you 1 Corinthians 10:31 that says, whether you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. Our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. God created our bodies. They are a gift. And so it's our responsibility to take care of our bodies and to nourish our bodies properly. And that brings glory to Him. I can think of lots of scriptures about this, some of my favorites. I won't share those right now, but God does talk about that through the Bible. As I've already mentioned, healthy eating does not happen by accident. It takes planning and intention, and creating a system for this is really important. And I'll be teaching on that in a week or two. So stay tuned here. But that is how to really incorporate this into your life so that you're not using willpower, but you have a system to fall back on, and decision fatigue doesn't become an issue. Like, oh, what am I going to eat? Or, I don't have this in the house, whatever the case might be. It's having a system so that you go on autopilot and it just makes it easier to follow. For right now, I just want to encourage you to make one small change this week. That could be adding a vegetable or tracking your protein. But these small changes, just making one small change, is a great place to start. I hope you're not overwhelmed by nutrition, but I hope that you are encouraged that it's possible just to take one small step at a time and see how those things add up. In my autoimmune journey, when I finally decided to do everything that I could to help myself, that was in my power, nutrition really was a pivotal point. It helped me not only to feel better and have more energy, but it brought me into remission. Now, I'm not saying that nutrition is going to do that for you, but it certainly could. And it's so important. I talk and tell my story about this in detail in my book, Faithful Autoimmune Remission. You can see it here on the shelf above me. I wrote this book, my story, really just to share and offer encouragement, because I've been in the trenches and it's hard and you don't know what to do. It's discouraging, but I share my story so that hopefully you and others will be encouraged by it. You don't have to get it all right, just one small step at a time.